Where do people find these jobs?
Here's the thing, reality positions, you don't really start as a story producer. You've got to figure out a way into the company. And it's one of the few writing and creative positions where it's still very much an apprenticeship. You're going to learn by doing in a lower position, and you're going to work your way up to that, which is why a lot of people come to me that are in their 40s or 50s and saying, well, I've been a writer for this, I want to cross over to reality television. No.
No,
it's very rare. You're going to have to start at the bottom. There are some people who have been able to cross over. Very early in my career, I worked with a writer named Steve Rosenfield. Steve had some experience writing for Jon Stewart, had written for The Daily Show. He was able to cross over fairly easily. Some scripted people, Lamar Damon is another guy who plays both sides of the fence. He was the creator of Bunheads for ABC, but he vacillates back and forth between reality and the other. But unless you are very successful on the other side of the fence already, it's a difficult jump. You don't really come in the middle. You start at the beginning.
So let's take a hypothetical 41-year-old male who's done some television sitcom writing, comes in for an interview, and he may have to take that lowest rung job. How should that person present themselves?
Well, let me tell you, it depends on the type of show. If you're doing something that's very heavily formatted, where that person's comedy experience is useful, if I'm doing a show where I'm doing a hidden camera prank show where we're pranking your parents, that person's going to be very valuable to that show because they have a sense of humor and they will figure out a way to work with you. That is a good example of when you are able to jump the fence. If you were 41 years old and you had no experience whatsoever, right, that's when you're in a bit of a pickle because you don't automatically, by virtue of being 41, have any advantage over someone who's 25.
Right.
It's not an ageism thing. It's just experience is what experience is.
So let's suppose it's a person that's a little bit more seasoned in their life and they're coming in for an interview. They know they're going to have to take a lower position. What's their demeanor like in terms of, do they want to come in incredibly humble or come in with, oh, I know this too? What's their resume look like? Are they even bringing a resume? What are some of the tips?
If you're brand new and you're mid-career or jumping from some other career into reality television, again, it's like writing, it's like anything else. No one owes you anything. You don't get to start in the middle because of your age. Your attitude coming in should always be, and I don't care how experienced you are, actually, if it's me, if I were on a show and I were coming in to interview as a co-executive producer with the executive producer, I have the same demeanor. I want you to have a good show. I want to make sure I'm a good fit for you. Let's talk about what I can do that benefits you and how this is going to work. Television, like anything else, is collaborative. I really discourage anyone who thinks they're going to change the world from the standpoint of being an auteur. Television is not for you. Film is not for you unless you're financing it yourself. There are too many people putting up too much money and too many people whose jobs and livelihoods depend on this end product for you to be saying, well, it can't be that way because I envision it this way. And I do run into people who work in reality television who are, who might have come in a bit late in the game, who think that they have an advantage because of their age or having written something else, that are very set in how they believe this is going to be done. And it ends up creating problems for everybody, and they don't end up lasting at the companies. It's all about being able to do these things as a team. But you also have to be verbal when you do have an idea. You can't just kind of roll with it. You can't just recede into the wallpaper and just say, okay, I'll do it the way you want it. You have to be able to present an idea, but you can't present an idea as if your idea is the only possible out.
So what's an interesting way to do that? What's a way to say, you know what, I have just this idea, just maybe I could just run it by you, instead of, no guys, this is the way it's supposed to be done? I mean, there's a fine line?
Let me give you an example with the impossible note. I have an executive who says, maybe, we really want to see more of this person talking about this particular subject and them being passionate about this thing. In reality, that person may have only brought it up in one scene. There's nothing to set it up with. The only way you can do anything is with an interview. So when you come back and you're offering that idea or that solution, you could say, well, if I do an interview bite here, I can go back into this other scene and talk about something that's tangentially related to it. So at least it seems like it's introduced earlier, so it's not so much of a shock, and then you don't feel like it's happening. That's a solution to a problem because it's addressing the thing that's bothering the person who's giving you the note. You're trying to figure out how to work with what it is you actually have. If I just said, no, it won't work because we don't have any of that, that's not a solution. If I'm not offering a solution, I'm not helping. If you can't offer solutions on a regular basis from a story perspective, you shouldn't be in reality television. Because just saying, no, I don't, no, I can't. I've never said no to a network note. Never. Is if a network note comes in, I'll say, I've reviewed it and I don't have the material to support it, but maybe we can do X, Y, or Z. Or I've reviewed it, there is no way to accomplish it. Or this didn't happen this way, I don't really see a way out of it. It always comes back to a discussion. I'm going to offer a solution. If I don't have a solution, then tough for us, but at least I didn't just reflexively tell you no.
Right. So let's take that same 41-year-old guy and say that he does get the job and he's starting at the very sort of bottom of the totem pole. How is he conducting himself on a daily basis while he's there?
I think there are certain things that you need to do when you start, especially if you're a little bit older, and that is to sort of declare your intention, which is, I'm really hoping to move into story. Anything you guys have that could help me out. I mean, if you're 41, it's quite likely that you might have a mentor who's 27. Just get over it. Just get over it. There are people that come into this business all the time. I'm 43. Some of the best people I've worked with are in their mid-20s because they have a fresh perspective and they also were raised on the stuff that I'm making. I wasn't raised on reality television. I came into it and learned as I went. So these are people who you just learn the language from watching it. And they have wonderful ideas, and because it's collaborative, I don't have room to be prideful. I just have, I'm there for the solution. Again, I don't care if he's 41, I don't care if he's 25. You have to put yourself in a position of, I'm here to learn because I want to move up. If you don't mention, this is a bit of a tangent, if you don't mention that you want to become a story producer or that you have a long-term goal, you can become really good at something and then stay there because no one knows you want to move up. If you treat the job like you're a receptionist at a car dealership and just come in and do a good job and go home, no one's going to promote you. You have to say, I want this. How can I learn from you? Or I just want to ask you a question about this because I know you're better at this than me, or you've done it longer than I have. Come in with a spirit of wanting to learn, not a spirit of entitlement, or I've read every book there is on screenwriting, so I know how to get us out of this.